there'll be a lot of teams that would compete for him. But Montreal's they're right at the wild card spot.
Exactly.
So maybe they don't want to make a move right now. And so all these, I guess I've noticed this most since when, I think I probably already knew it, but when, with Cammy working and stuff, it's like if the media's talking about what a team needs over and over and over again, do you not think the management knows? Like they probably got an idea.
They knew 6 months ago what they want. Like we talk about it for 5 minutes. They talk about it for 8 hours a day, every day. That's what management does.
What else are they going to do, right? They've probably got up 18,000 trade possibilities each. They're like, seriously, each team's going through all these scenarios about, well, if we could get that guy, we could move this guy, and maybe, but we don't want to touch that prospect. And so they're all talking about the same thing, and then you get down and it's like 10 players, like the 10 legit guys that teams might be willing to trade or you might really want. And then somehow you got to make the deal work, and it all gets gummed up in the cap and all that stuff too. But I just think like that, as much as I don't like the cap, because I wish the players were able to make, what other sports can make and stuff like that, but there's obvious reasons they can't. The cap has done what it's intended, and that is compact the league. Like I don't know how, can you guys tell, like, before they used to be like, look at that team, they're way better than everybody else. You just can't do that anymore. No,
that's the truth. There's just so much parity, and that's the reason why you see so many teams lumped up. And it's going to be a team goes on a 5-game winning streak or a 5-game losing streak. They put themselves in a way different spot in the standings just based on how things are lumped up.
Okay. It's funny you say 5 games, Noodles. I just came across this today. Leafs have won 5 straight. Bruins have lost 5 straight.
Yeah.
It's 10 points each.
Yep.
Gone the other way. And now, Boston's like 40 miles from Toronto. Like they can't, but 5 games ago it wasn't that way.
It happens quick.
That's the thing. I meant to ask you, Ray, we brought up 4 nations. What's your stance on if a player is, laboring with an injury, or if you're in management, do you leaning towards, hey, the player kind of sitting this one out, or, what do you make of that?
If the discussion is almost game to game or more or less game to game, hey, can he go, can he not go, and he's playing, I would lean to pulling him or to holding him back. If you've got to make almost not a game time decision, but a daily decision whether the player's okay to play on that day, I think I'd want to hold them back. I don't know if the player, I don't know how that even conversation would work, because could they hold them back, or does he say, no, I want to play, so I'm going to play? I think it's more complicated, but if the guy's if Matthews is back and he's playing every game up to the break, and he's playing 18 to 22 minutes a game, and every day the next morning he comes in and he's feeling great, well, then he's healthy and you play. I'd be scared to death that he comes back out of the thing and isn't. But, I guess it's like the Olympics next year. Guys are going to go and probably somebody's going to get hurt. And they're going to lose. The team's going to lose. Right, they're going to lose a significant player. But how do you, if they've all signed off on it, how do you hold them back?
Exactly, and it's a league-run event. The league, they want to make money off this. They're selling it. They're promoting it. And again, it may be a little bit different if these guys have had an opportunity to play best on best for the last decade, but they haven't.
I know, Hayes, but it's not the Olympics, though. And when you're paying a guy 13-something million and you're trying to make a move in the playoffs, that would... It would be on top of your mind, man. It is.
It's very complicated. There's different rules for different players. And using Matthews as an example, the truth is, what are the Leafs going to do? What are they going to do? Sit him, bench him, trade him?
No. If he says he's going, he's going, and
exactly.
That's the end of the story.
If he wants to go, he's going to go, and there's nothing they're going to do about it.
Right. You would hope that, with the medical staff, you could take a clear sort of decision at it and go, okay, where are we at? Each game you come in, or the next day, are we dealing with a half an hour of prehab to get you just on the ice? Because if that's the case, then you would hope that the player would realize, hey, like I got some responsibility here too, to my team, because in the long run, he's probably playing in the Olympics next year anyway. I'm not talking about Matthews, of course he is, but I mean another player. Like I think I don't know. It would be tough. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like, if I had that chance, and you're kind of banged up a little bit, would you? It's 4 games. Like, would you not think, like, man, I can do that. I can get myself through that. Mm-hmm. It would be hard to walk away as I think about it.
Yeah, well, especially for the perimeter guys, because they'd be fearful they'll hold that against you at the Olympic Games next year. Like, someone else steps in and plays great, all right, you're out. Like, what do we need you for next year? We won without you.
That's and I would think that as much as we, maybe picked over the rosters a little bit now, can you imagine for the Olympics? Like the stress and the focus on each pick is going to be 10 times greater than it was for 4 nations.
Well, that's one thing that needs to be considered is, we can call it whatever we want, manufactured, made up, not as important. If Canada doesn't perform well, the pressure is going to be crazy for the Olympic Games.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Dude.
Like, it'll be crazy anyway, but with the World Junior stuff the last couple of years, people are on edge to begin with. Hockey Canada, we know what's happened with the whole program the last few years. If Canada shows up at the 4 Nations and loses, every game or whatever, doesn't make it to the final, by next year at the Olympic Games, it'll be a completely different feeling. Like, it'll be you have to win. Like, you have to find a way to win that.
Well, I do think the way that they picked, and again, let me just say, like, I didn't know a lot of the roster before they picked the World Junior team. Mm-hmm. And so I talked to a couple people, and they went, oof, they've left some really good players off. And as it turned out, oof, they left some really good players off. But I wonder if that, now you've already picked the 4 nations, but I wonder if the failures in picking the team leak into how they have those discussions, Doug Armstrong and his group for the Olympics, about putting together, where you nitpick your roster or you just put the best, more of the best players on. Mm-hmm. Like, I wonder if that becomes almost like a lab experiment that went wrong, and you go, okay, we got to do something different.
Well, and the truth of that is, right,
Chris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin to Los Angeles Kings, possible deal with Toronto Maple Leafs. In an interesting twist in the NHL trade market, new rumors are emerging about Chris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin potentially being traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Sources indicate that the Kings, who have been one of the most active teams in recent weeks, are evaluating the possibility of bolstering their defense with Beauchemin, while Versteeg, who brings strong offensive capabilities, could be a key piece in a larger trade. This move becomes even more intriguing considering the Kings' surplus of offensive pieces available for trade, exactly what the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking for to strengthen their roster. It's speculated that with Versteeg included in the deal, the Leafs could be targeting a possible addition like Wayne Simmonds, along with a mid-range draft pick. This move makes sense given Simmonds' struggles this season, as he has yet to find his top form on the ice. To add more drama to the trade talk, there are even whispers that veteran defenseman Tomas Kaberle could be included, opening the door for a potential pursuit of Brayden Schenn. If completed, this move could have a significant impact on reshaping the Leafs lines and adding more depth to the team. Stay tuned for updates to see if these trades come to fruition and how they might shape the future of Toronto and Los Angeles this season. In an interesting twist in the NHL trade market, new rumors are emerging about Chris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin potentially being traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Sources indicate that the Kings, who have been one of the most active teams in recent weeks, are evaluating the possibility of bolstering their defense with Beauchemin, while Versteeg, who brings strong offensive capabilities, could be a key piece in a larger trade. This move becomes even more intriguing considering the Kings' surplus of offensive pieces available for trade, exactly what the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking for to strengthen their roster. It's speculated that with Versteeg included in the deal, the Leafs could be targeting a possible addition like Wayne Simmonds, along with a mid-range draft pick. This move makes sense given Simmonds' struggles this season, as he has yet to find his top form on the ice. To add more drama to the trade talk, there are even whispers that veteran defenseman Tomas Kaberle could be included, opening the door for a potential pursuit of Brayden Schenn. If completed, this move could have a significant impact on reshaping the Leafs lines and adding more depth to the team. The Kings' situation is complex, as they are in the midst of a transitional period. Their aging roster, which includes a core group that led them to several successful playoff campaigns in the past, has seen some struggles in recent seasons. While there's a clear need for defensive help, Los Angeles may also want to improve their offensive consistency in order to make a deep playoff push. The combination of Boescheman's defensive reliability and Versteeg's offensive upside could help the Kings balance their lineup. From the Leafs' perspective, this potential deal is about retooling for the future. The team is in a position to compete, but they also need to solidify certain areas on the ice. Adding a player like Wayne Simmonds could provide the grit and scoring touch that the team has been missing. Furthermore, acquiring a mid-range draft pick could help with future team-building efforts, as Toronto looks to remain competitive while still developing young talent. The inclusion of Kaberle in the trade package could be a strategic move for both teams. The veteran defenseman, who has been with the Leafs for a long time, has seen his role diminished in recent seasons. However, his experience and offensive abilities could be a valuable asset for Los Angeles, who could use a steady presence on the blue line to help their younger players develop. The talk surrounding Brayden Schenn's potential involvement in the deal adds an intriguing layer to the negotiations. Schenn, a versatile forward, has shown flashes of brilliance but has been inconsistent at times. If the Leafs are able to land him, it could be a great opportunity for both the player and the team to find success together. Schenn's physicality, two-way game, and leadership could be exactly what the Leafs need to bolster their forward group. While the trade market can be volatile and unpredictable, these rumors suggest that both the Kings and Leafs are preparing for significant changes. For Toronto, this could mark the beginning of a new era, with a focus on adding more experience and depth. For Los Angeles, the trade could be a chance to retool and address some of the weaknesses in their lineup, while still competing for a playoff spot this season. Of course, as with any trade rumors, it's important to remember that these discussions are fluid and can evolve quickly. There are many moving parts in these types of negotiations, and both teams will likely have to weigh their options carefully before making any final decisions. It's also possible that other teams could enter the fray, further complicating the situation. In the coming days, fans of both teams will be watching closely to see if any concrete moves are made. The NHL trade deadline is fast approaching, and teams are scrambling to position themselves for a successful postseason. Whether this rumored deal materializes or not, the possibility of a major trade between the Leafs and Kings will certainly keep fans on edge as the season continues to unfold. The trade talks involving Versteeg, Boescheman, and potentially Simmonds or Schenn highlight the delicate balance that NHL teams must strike between immediate success and long-term growth. Both the Leafs and Kings are trying to find that balance, and this rumored